Research shows that most hiring managers will decide if you get a second interview within the first 60 seconds of meeting you. As you now know, your ability to sell yourself during a sales interview is a direct display of your technical ability to be successful in a sales role. In other words, during a sales interview, your sales skills will be evaluated on your ability to sell yourself before, during, and after the interview. And that's why it's critical to employ all 3 steps of the InterviewACE process: attitude, connection, and evidence. In this session, we'll continue our conversation on attitude and learn how to prepare for those crucial first 60 seconds of the interview and the overall interview experience. During your first 60 seconds, you're being evaluated on your appearance, your body language, the organization of your materials, and the opening conversation, which in most cases starts with, "Tell me about yourself." Let's dive into each section. Your attire should be 1 notch higher than the management team's appearance and should be wrinkle-free and fitted correctly. You should dress 1 step higher because remember, you're the person interviewing. In most cases, business professional is the default attire for the first interview. However, it is appropriate to ask. And when you do ask if it's okay if you dress in business professional attire, not if you have to. Once you've made it to the second interview, it's likely your attire will be more situational specific. For example, if your second interview calls for a site visit or a plant tour, wearing a suit and tie may not be appropriate. Again, it's okay to ask. When it comes to deciding if you should hide or show tattoos and piercings, always consider the culture of the company and the specific role you're interviewing for. While some more conservative organizations may have policies against showing these items, some organizations prefer them. When you meet anyone in the company, it's important to display professional body language. Keep in mind that anyone you meet in the lobby and even the parking lot can provide feedback to the hiring manager. So be sure to hold doors, smile, and make eye contact with everyone you come in contact with. When you officially meet someone, be sure to give a firm, professional handshake and again, make professional eye contact. As you remember from our productive interaction session, body language is 55% of your communication, so be sure to follow all the best practices here. Starting with asking to take a seat or waiting until offered to take a seat before sitting down. Keeping your hands on the table and not in your lap. If there's not a table in front of you, it's appropriate to keep your hands in your lap and or your portfolio. Now, without being awkward, keep in mind that open palms and or steeple fingers are the most open and honest positions for your hands. Display good posture and mirror and or match the interviewer's body language, but do keep it slightly more formal than the interviewer. Again, you're the one on the interview. Any materials you bring must be in crisp and clean condition. This includes copies of your resume, which must always be printed on resume paper and kept in a professional folder or portfolio. And it may be appropriate to bring any substantial awards or certificates that are related to the position to share or leave with the interviewer. Finally, as the clock nears the first minute of the interview, it's time for some relevant small talk. You'll need to research your interviewers before the interview so you know what topics will likely interest them. Keep in mind that while you may know one specific person that you'll interview with, there's always a chance that others may join in the interview, which is actually a good thing, so be sure to expand your research to other senior managers on the team. Sports and colleges or even the weather are okay fallback conversations, but don't make them your lead conversation topic. After a little small talk, the interview is very likely to start off with the most common interview question. Tell me about yourself. We go into the details on how to best answer this question in our interview pitch session, but for now, let's talk about the main structure on how to answer this one. First, your answer must be relevant to the position. There's no need to go into your personal life or start with your first sales experience selling candy in 4th grade. And your answer must be focused on what's in it for the company. Next, your answer should display your skill set, achievements in various roles, and your personal unique selling proposition. In other words, why a company would want to hire you instead of the other 100+ candidates that apply for the same position. Finally, your answer should be in a clear, concise, and engaging story format and should end with why you're interested in this specific role with this specific company. Just like all your sales dialogues, as you're preparing for this answer, put yourself in the interviewer's shoes and be sure your story explains a compelling reason why you're the best hire for the role. Whew, okay, now that you made it past the first 60 seconds, it's time to make sure you're prepared for the rest of the interview. The key topics here are explaining your resume, the environment, and the interview questions. It's likely the interviewer will ask you about the other jobs you've held in your career. What's important here are the transferable skills you've developed in the previous roles and how they will directly apply to this role. Keep in mind that the hiring manager will not make these connections on her own, so it's your responsibility to clearly explain how what you did in your previous role is transferable to the needs of this role. If you have any holes in your resume, such as multiple jobs that you've held for less than 2 years, you'll need to have an honest and verifiable explanation as to why you made the transition. Next, it's important to be prepared for the different types of environments you may experience during the interview. For example, some interviewers may create an intense environment to see how you respond under pressure. This may include tough interview questions, rough interviewers, surprise panel interviews, and even undercover interviewers. On the flip side, some interviewers like to create a friendly, relaxed environment in the hopes that you'll drop your interview persona and your interview guard and show the real you, which may increase your chances of making a mistake and coming across as unprofessional. Next, you'll need to prepare for the many interview questions you'll be asked during the interview. Before you can start practicing specific interview questions, you'll want to reflect and journal on your previous work experiences and the achievements you've had along the way. Take notes on all the specific events that may apply to the role that you're interviewing for. Take your time on this exercise so that you have 10 or more specific experiences written down, as the more information you have, the easier it'll be for you to prepare for the specific questions. Once you've completed your reflection, now you're ready to go through the specific practice questions included in your workbook. If you don't have them yet, you can request a workbook via email. Wow, having the attitude of a top sales professional is no joke. It takes a lot of preparation, and you really do have to be ready for anything. Go ahead and journal on the information we've discussed so far and answer the practice interview questions provided. Then get geared up for our next InterviewACE session on making the connection during the interview. I'll see you there.